All right, now that we have the cuff applied properly, as high up on my leg as we can get it, tightened as much as possible so that the two ends are just meeting or just overlapping, and the valve facing up, we're going to connect the end of the hose of the BFR unit. So I'm just going to push in the silver valve and then push straight down until you hear that little click. And then if you pull up on it, it should not disconnect. From there, you're going to turn the device on, and then we're going to go to start exercise. We're going to go down to leg, and then we're going to go to personal pressure. And for now, I'm going to show you how to go to 80% pressure. So we're just going to hit this up button until we get to 80%. You should be able to double click it, but for some reason this is not working as well. And then we're going to hit enter. So what this is going to do, you can hear it pumping up. This is going to find the pressure that it takes in order to fully occlude blood from my left leg. And as that is happening, it's going to pump all the way up, just like a blood pressure cuff. And it will wait until it no longer feels a pulse going through. So there's a sensor inside of this cuff, and then it's going to wait until the pulse gets cut off. And then that is going to be the limb occlusion pressure, or that full pressure at which the limb is fully cut off from blood returning. And then at that point, it's going to deflate fully, and then it will reinflate to 80% of that number, or whatever percentage that you just typed in as I just showed you. So as this is happening, you want to make sure you're staying as still as possible to not mess this up. If you are moving and wiggling around or contracting the muscle, it will sometimes get messed up and have to restart. So you want to try to be as still as possible. And then once we have our limb occlusion pressure, we can start exercise. The other really important piece of finding limb occlusion pressure is making sure that you do it in the position that you are going to exercise in. So I'm going to be showing you how to do BFR immediately after surgery or after major injury. And we're going to be using it in this long sitting or supine position. So that's where I'm finding this pressure. If we were going to be doing squats, we would need to do this in standing so that we make sure that the pressure actually applies to a standing position. If we found a pressure in standing and then came back to this position, we would likely be going over 100% limb occlusion pressure, and that's where that can be dangerous and cause issues. If you really want to be safe, you can find this limb occlusion pressure in this position and then use it for all of your exercises, but then you may be slightly underdosing for standing and sitting exercises. So typically it goes from least pressure required in a position such as supine or long sitting to most pressure required in standing to occlude the blood. So now you can see that this is pumping back up. And once it is at that limb occlusion pressure, like it is right now, going to walk you through this. So here it shows you that the pressure is 200. The limb occlusion pressure is 250, so we're at 80% of that, which is 200. We're going to go down to auto-regulate. And auto-regulate is going to try and keep this pressure as close to 200 as possible for us. So you can hear it adjusting a little bit as we're going here. So if I tighten my muscle, that pressure is going to go up. And if I were to keep that, it's going to try to release a little bit. So that's how you find limb occlusion pressure with the Smart Tools BFR cuffs.